Welcome back to Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim tactical card game for 1 to 2 players. This is not officially licensed, so I'm not going to share these anywhere. I'm just going to show you this game that I created. I designed these essentially playmat cards to go with a normal deck of playing cards in order to play this game. We've already done one chapter. This is chapter 2. In the last chapter, there was a duel between Helm Hammerhand and Lord Freke due to Lord Freke wanting to take over the throne. We, playing as the Rohirrim and Helm Hammerhand, defeated Lord Freke, which will have an impact on chapter 5. We're now going to play chapter 2. Again, we are using these Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers luxury playing cards from Kingswild, which are absolutely gorgeous. We've got the foiled set here. You need one suit in order to play as your chosen faction, either the Rohirrim or the Hill Tribes. We're playing as the Rohirrim against the Hill Tribes. This can be for 2 players, but we're playing the solo play version of this game. Okay, so I'm going to move on to chapter 2. In chapter 2, Escape from Isengard. After investigating a new disease at Rohan's eastern border, Hera is captured by General Targ. He brings her to Isengard, where hill tribes have gathered for the plans of their new commander, a wolf set on revenge and validation. Hera's comrades must help her in a daring escape. So, you might remember in the last episode we had one event here. Here we have 2 events for chapter 2. There's going to be a duel between Alwyn and Wolf, and then a chase between Hera and Targ / the Hill Tribes. This one here. So, we set up a duel. We looked at a duel in episode 1, so I'm not going to go over the rules for a duel. We're just going to play the duel, but the chase is a new one, so we're going to go over those rules when we get onto that part of the chapter. So, you might remember we have these cards, which help us when it comes to just as a playmat, essentially. These cards are essentially just a playmat and a scorecard and our rule cards. In order to play the game, you do need a deck of playing cards, and these ones are absolutely stunning. So, we'll set each commander up on 6 health. We have Alwyn versus Wolf. So Wolf is on 12 health here, sorry, not 6. And Alwyn is on 12 health here as well. We currently have 1 defeat against the other. In order to play solo play, you need to remove the kings first. The kings are our tokens. And the other 12 cards are shuffled and placed into 2 sets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's going to be set 1. And this is going to be set 2. We're going to shuffle our cards, have the king here, and give it a quick shuffle and set it out into 2 sets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, set 1 and set 2. Good. So we are on a duel. So remember, we can play 3 cards each round. 1 to change the position of our king, 1 to attack either high, middle, or low, and 1 to guard high, middle, or low. Depending on the position of the kings, we can deal more damage or less damage. So let's start off with our first set. When you're playing in solo play, you do just play random for the opponent so that you can play solo play. Obviously, this would usually be sort of a tactical game where you'd be working against the other person. You'd be able to tell some of their ticks or not. So 1 card in maneuver, 1 card in attack, 1 card in guard. 1 card, and then we get to choose for us. We have 3 high and 3 middle. That's not very good, because if they attack low, there's no way for us to guard and stop. So I think what we're going to do is just play our high, high, and guard middle. It gives us 1 high and 2 middles for the next round in case we see that they've used some middles, which means there's less likely chance for middles to come up. First round is kind of just a guessing game anyway. So I maneuver high, which means I move 90 degrees. They maneuver middle, so they move there, which means we're going to be dealing 2 damage if we manage a successful attack. We both attack high, and we both guard middle. So they've used 2 middle and 1 high, which means that they're unlikely to have many middles in our second one. But both of us deal 2 damage to each other because we're at 45 degrees. So both of us started on 12 health. We're both down to 10 health. These 3 cards get set to the side and discarded. Let's just have a look at how beautiful they are first. These 3 cards get discarded. Both queens have been played in that round. Okay, so they've used 2 middle and 1 high, which means they're unlikely to have a middle. They're probably going to have more lows available in their pool. So I'm going to guard high because there's more chance that they're attacking high than attacking middle. They're unlikely to guard middle, and that leaves this card to maneuver. And maneuver, attack, and guard. Let's go here. They stay still because they're maneuvering low. I'm maneuvering middle, which means I move 45 degrees, which means we're now perpendicular. So any successful attacks will deal 3 damage. They attack low, which is not good because I can't defend low. I attack middle. They guard high, and I guard high as well. Both jacks in this round. So they attack low. They deal 3 damage to me, and I deal 3 damage to them. So we're on to 7 health each. Good. These 3 cards get put with set 1 over here, which we're now finished with. We've discarded all the cards. So we go over to set 2. Second set of 6 cards. So they used 2 high, 2 middle, and 2 low, actually, because they had 2 lows. Yeah, so they still have some of each. I have a lot of lows coming up, I know that. So let's maneuver, attack, and guard, and I'm going to set mine up. So I have 1 high, 3 lows, and 2 middle. So I want to keep 1 high, 1 middle, and 1 low for the last round. So I think I'm going to stay still. I'm going to attack middle and guard low. So we both maneuver. I stay still. They move 45 degrees, so now any damage will be 2 damage. They attack middle. I attack low. They guard low, and I guard low. Oh, I used 3 lows. I didn't use a middle. Oops. I thought I was guarding middle, or attacking middle, one of the 2, but I didn't. I did all lows. So, all my lows are gone. I do not successfully attack. They do successfully attack, so I lose 2 health, which means Alwyn is down to 5 health. They've used 2 middles and 1 low, which means they're likely to have highs in their next hand, and not many middles. They don't have any middles left, so I'm free to attack middle, actually. Okay, so let's go for a middle attack. They are likely to attack high, so I'm going to guard high, which means my ace is left for the maneuver. These 3 cards get discarded, and maneuver, attack, and guard. So, we maneuver. I stay still. They move 90 degrees, which means we're now at 45 degrees from each other, which means we're dealing 2 damage still. They attack low. I attack middle. They guard high, and I guard high. So I attack them. That hits for 2 damage, so they're down to 5. But they also attack me for 2 damage, and I'm down to 3 health. Okay, set 2 is finished. The these 3 cards get put with set 2. I take set 1 into my hand. Set 2 and set 1. So give these a shuffle. Now they have 2 of each in each set. So there's not much that can be done on this first one. Let's just show off a couple of the other cards actually, because each card has a unique border as well, and we're not going to see many of our spades or diamonds. And yeah, so our diamonds have the flames, Flame of Udun, maybe. No, it's Sauron's flames, I think. Then we've got these elf-like ones for the Fangorn Forest cards in the diamond suit with the Light of Galadriel here, so maybe that is Lorien. Did say elf-like. Cool. Palantir is for the things, so that's our Palantirs, and I think it's Glamdring, Gandalf's sword, which gives out our border for the hearts. Okay, I think that's where we were, or we were there. It doesn't matter, we're at 45 regardless. Okay, so we'll give them 3 random. We're currently 2 behind. We don't know what they're going to do because they do have 2 of each. So I do think we need to play a little bit safe. Let's go for a middle ground play, maneuver middle. Let's go. We've just got a lot of highs, so I'm going to attack high and guard high. That way I have 2 middles and 1 high for the next round. We're both going to maneuver. I'm going to maneuver 1. They're going to stay still, which means any damage will be 1 damage. They're going to attack middle. I'm going to attack high. I'm going to guard high, and they're going to guard middle. So both of us deal 1 damage. So I did say I wanted a middle ground play in terms of if we were going to take damage, I didn't want to be able to take all of the damage. So moving 1 was good. Hang on, they were on 5, weren't they? Then they're down to 4. Okay. Whilst I know what's going on with them. So now they've used 2 middle and 1 low. So they're likely to use highs in the next hand. Next round. So I think I'm going to guard high. And then use the other 2 middles that I have. So I think they're likely to attack high. Okay. So, maneuver. They maneuver high, I maneuver middle. So they go 90 degrees. I go 45 degrees. So we're now currently dealing 2 damage. So if they successfully attack me here, I am gone. They attack high. I attack middle. They guard low, and I guard high. So I do successfully guard, they don't, so now down to 2 health each. If we both die, we both fail our objectives, which means that we both need to swap out a card before chapter 5. That's how the campaign runs. It's about how many objectives you lose. If you don't win a duel, if you lose a duel, then that's 1 card that gets swapped out for the final battle where you can't use them as a guard anymore. Okay, so set 2, let's give this a shuffle. Set them here, and we have our set 2. So I do have all 4 lows here, and then 1 middle and 1 high. So I do think I need to use 1 of each. Maybe, or we have save 2 lows in each. Let's go 2 lows in the middle and then keep our 2 lows and a high. So let's, I think, staying still is our best bet. Let's attack low and let's guard middle. There's not really a way that we can do this. I'm hoping by staying still they might go... Actually, by staying still there's no way that they can come to only dealing 1 damage. So I think I'm going to maneuver to meet them, hope that they go low. And then if I move here, then we'll be perpendicular. We only deal 1 damage, and I have more ideas about what they're doing in the next round. So I'm playing kind of a slower wait on this first hand. So They maneuver, they stay still. I go middle, so we are only going to be dealing 1 damage. They attack low, I attack low. They guard middle, and I guard low. So they currently have 1 health left. Now we both still can lose this if they get a successful 2-point attack on the next one. I see that they've used 2 low and 1 middle, so they have 2 highs and 1 middle left. Okay, so I think my best bet is to guard high and then use my 2 lows elsewhere. So guard high. Unfortunately, they are going to have to move, which means they're not going to be ever parallel to me anymore. Which means if they do get a successful attack, they're dealing at least 2 damage. If I could move with them, then they could only deal 1 damage, but then we're back into the waiting game on the next hand anyway. So it doesn't really help us. Maneuver, they go 90 degrees, so we're both dealing 3 damage if there's a successful attack, because I stay still. They attack high, I attack low. They cannot guard low because they didn't have a low left, so they guard middle, and I guard high. So I do successfully guard theirs, which means I don't take any damage, and they do, which means I've now won 2 events. They have lost 2. Okay, so that's the first event of our second chapter. There is also a chase between Hera and Targ / the Hill Tribes. So, we're done with our duels. We can get our cards back. Okay, and we'll set up for a chase. This is the first chase of the campaign, so we are going to go over the rules. We will have a look at it. We don't need our field cards for a chase, so these are going to be picked up and set to the side. So we don't need our duel cards anymore. Instead, we're going to go over to a chase. There is solo play that we need, obviously, and we're going to go to our chase rules card here. We've got our battle, got 3, 4, 5, and we've got our cards. Okay. So, chase. Each player shuffles their suit and draws 2 cards. So, your kings are in your hand this time, so you shuffle your suit and draw 2 cards. We do need a set of neutral obstacle cards here, so we're going to choose our spades as our neutral cards. We'll save our diamonds to the side. So we are going to need these. We're going to shuffle these and put these face down as well. In order to win, the chased, which is always going to be the Rohirrim, because here, Targ is chasing Hera, and this is the same in all of the chase games in this. So the chase is the only one of our battle modes that is asymmetric, and it's always the Rohirrim being chased and the hill tribes as the chaser. So in order for the Rohirrim to win, the chased, you must play all cards from your hand. So I need 0 cards left in my hand. I can have cards in my deck, I just need cards out of my hand. In order for the hill tribes to win, they need to clear all of the obstacle cards on the board. In this, both players can fail. So if there's obstacles left, and I've run out of cards that I can play down, and I have cards left in my hand that I can't put down, then I fail my objective. If Targ does not, if the hill tribes do not clear all of the obstacle cards between them and the Rohirrim, then they also fail their objective. Okay, so starting with the chaser in turns, each player can do one of match the obstacle card by rank or sum of 2+ cards. So if there's a obstacle card that's played that's an 8, and I have a 4, a 3, and an 8, I can play them together to match that card. If the chased does this, so if the Rohirrim does this, it also adds 2 more obstacle cards from the neutral suit. Or you can draw one card from your own deck, or you can apply a skill. The chaser skill is they can swap the position of 2 open obstacle cards. So if there's cards that haven't been matched on the table, then we can swap those positions. That's for the chaser, that's for the hill tribes. The chased, the Rohirrim, can pick up 1 card from the board of their own suit. So if I've matched this 8 with a 4, a 3, and an ace, and I still want this ace in my hand to go for the next obstacle card, I can pick this ace up. You can only do one of these things for every round. Okay, so this is our chase board. We're going to have Hera versus Targ. Let's do that down here, this up here, and yeah. So this will be Freka's suit and Hera's suit. Good. Jacks are 11, queens are 12, kings are 13. In order to play this solo play, we're going to treat the opposing hand as open. So when they draw 2 cards, we're going to see the 2 cards that they draw. Okay. We're also going to have our cards in our hand. So we've got a jack and a 2. They've got a 7 and a 3. Okay. If the hand can clear any obstacle card, not just the next obstacle card, then clear that obstacle and swap its position with the first open obstacle card. If it can't clear an obstacle, draw a card into the open hand. Okay. So essentially these obstacle cards are like this. Okay. Usually when I play, I can only clear the first obstacle card. If I clear the first obstacle card, then I can add 2 more obstacle cards in my wake. Obviously I've put a card down from the board. In solo play, the chaser can put any card from anywhere. I can only be playing on the first obstacle card. They can play on any obstacle cards. Okay, we don't need the dice for this game mode. And I think it starts with the... Where did I put the chase card? Oh, it's down here. We start with the chaser. So we start with the hill tribes. So the hill tribes play first. In solo play, if there's nothing that can be matched, then we just draw a card into the open hand. Okay. I can swap the positions of 2 obstacle cards. No, they can do that. And I can pick up a card that I've played. But I haven't played any cards, so the only things I can do are pick up a card or match the ace, but I can't match the ace, so I pick up 3. Good. They can't match either of these cards, so they pick up this. I pick up on my turn. I'm left with the 7. Keep going here until we're able to get either an ace or a 6 on the board, or I can get the ace. Okay, cool. So they'll be able to play the 6 on the next turn. So, played this. They can match this. If they had a 5 and an ace, they could have also matched this. And then we swap this with the obstacle card. So, depending on this being this first obstacle card, it can be quite a difficult game. So they've played that. I pick up the 4, I pick up the 8, ace, and 9. So now I can play this ace down. Okay, unfortunately I have a lot of cards in my hand, but that means that I might be able to make sums of the next 2. So I do that, and I make 2 more obstacle cards. So there's a 5 and a queen. They can play the queen through 9 and a 3, or they can play the 5 through the 5. Let's have them play the 5 through the 5. So, that closes that one up, which means I'm left to deal with the queen, which unfortunately I do have. Now I can do the queen through a 7 and a 5, or I can do it through just the queen, but I'm going to need to get rid of this queen eventually, and I've already got the ace, so if the king comes up, then it's quite difficult. Or I can try to get rid of more cards in one time. For example, another way I could make 12 would be 2, 3, and 7, so I can get rid of 3 cards from my hand in this case, or I can pick up the ace and maybe do a jack and thing on the next turn. Let's just get as many cards out of our hand as possible. So we're meeting the 12 here. which lets us draw 2 new obstacle cards. King and a jack. Good. So, yeah, match the king or the jack. I can match the king through a 10 and a 3. I can match the jack just by itself. Let's do the 10 and a 3 for the king. Leaves the jack open here and draws 2 new obstacle cards. 3 and 4. Okay. Set this to the side. Okay. So now they play on a 3 or a 4. They can't play on a 3 or 4. I can't play on this 3. In fact, I'm not going to be able to play on the 3 at all, but I'm going to pick up this 3 from the board so I can play it on the next turn, which will open up this 4, which I do have, and bring 2 new obstacle cards out. They can't play on a 3 or a 4, so they draw a card. They do have the 4. I play the 3 here, which opens up 2 new obstacle cards. 2 and 8. Okay, let's just start beginning to stack these. Play the 4, or we can play the 8. Let's play the 4 here to match the 4. Got a 2 and an 8 left. The only way I can make 2 is by having a 2, so let's get this into my hand. They draw their ace. I play the 2. So there's an 8 left, and then 2 new obstacle cards. Okay, the 9 and the 7. Right now, on their turn, they can play the 7, the 9, or the 8. I reckon they'll play the 9. I think in solo play you do just get to choose, and that swaps with the available card, which was the 7. So now I need to try to play 8. I can do this by picking up my 3 again. I can play it with the 4 and the 3. So 1 and 8. So 5 and 3. 4 and 4. 7 and ace, where I can pick up. Just pick up this 3. They do play the 8 here, which means it's only the 7 left. I can play 7, so I play the 4 and the 3. And deal 2 new obstacle cards, but there's only 1 obstacle card left. So now they pick up this king. There's no way for me to win this. I just need to make sure that this obstacle card is not cleared by them. So, because there's no way for me to play this queen, which maybe I should have done before while I could, because the queen can only go on a queen or a king, then that's not good. So what way can I get to 10? I've got a 5, I could go 3 and 2. I played a 2 before, didn't I? Did I play a 2 before? Yes, I did. Or I can go 4 and ace. Let's go 4 and ace. So pick that up. They can't make a 10 with the cards that they have, so they're going to pick up. I pick up the ace. They pick up the 2. They're not able to make 10 in any way. I make 10 to clear this obstacle. All of the obstacle cards are gone, which means the game is over. They didn't clear the final obstacle card, so they fail their objective. But we also didn't get rid of all of the cards from our hand, so we fail our objective. So both of us lose a card in the final chapter. That's chase. I think it's better when there's 2 people. Adapting this for solo play was a little bit difficult, but it does work. It is difficult. I think it's the most difficult game mode to kind of manage and think about and strategize. But yeah, so that's our second event, the escape from Isengard, finished. And I think that'll be that for this episode, and we'll move on to episode 3 of the campaign in the next video.